Hello, my lovelies, my amazings, and my wonderfuls. Yes, that's you. You matter. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me on I Am Maggie and I Am Maggie. I appreciate spending this time with you, and I look forward to all the things that are in store for us all in the most positive ways. Now, what we have been doing on this channel, we've been doing the magic of everyday life with Maria Szepes. And we are just doing a slow crawl through to see what pearls, tools, what things we might pick up for ourselves on our journey to healing or just to upgrade our life. And many of us are helpers to all. We are energy healers, light workers, and as such. We're in ministry and what have you. And we're actually out there helping a lot of people. So somewhere, some of these tools are going to come into play. I would love to hear that when you get a chance. Please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear your positive comments. And also, where you're at it, please hit like and subscribe. It really does help me, and I'm just working my way up to 1,000 subscribers and more. I'm working to develop myself too. So when you do get a chance, please hit subscribe and like and leave your positive comments. So we are currently in chapter 20, guys. We are moving right through this book. So it's been just such a pleasant experience to be with you. We will be hitting up something next. But let's get on to chapter 20. How to overcome discontent, the magic of postures. So here we go. A psychologist named Thompson put the following curious question to his patients. What was their opinion? So I'm going to ask you. Do they cry because they feel sad? Or do they feel sad because they are crying? So I'm going to ask you that again. Are you sad? Are you sad? Are you crying because you feel sad? Or do you feel sad because you are crying? Did they run away from somewhere because they got frightened? Or did they get frightened because they ran? These are all really great questions as the world continues to transform through like pandemics and just changes of countries and status and everything. It's good to kind of, to just, I see myself, I see my reality, as reality transurfing would say. Anyway, subsequently, he recommended the following exercise to support his strongly extreme and seemingly paradoxical articulation. Kneel, close your eyes, clasp your hands in prayer, and in this tense, upward reaching posture, wait. So any of you who spend time in prayer or meditation, I'm pretty sure in your mind's eye you have a view of this. So I'm going to read this to you one more time. Either you can imagine it in your mind, or you can take the time to do this as I read it to you. Okay, so here we go. Kneel, close your eyes, clasp your hands in prayer, and in this tense, upward reaching posture, wait. Now, we could be here forever in this posture. In all spiritual traditions, some will call like being in the silence, you listen, or praying, you're speaking to God, or meditating, you're listening. However you see it, there can be listening and pushing out to prayers, but also receiving guidance in however you state it. But that time in that type of posture, any kind of posture that's directed at God, answers will come. So after a while, he asked what the patients felt. Religious inspiration, said all. And everyone had to admit that this reaction was elicited from them by this special posture. So when we get into a posture of prayer, we're setting an intention of our heart to talk to God, to talk to the universe, to how you know it. Sometimes people have done a lot of awful things to others in the name of God. And we know that that's not the real living God, because God is loving and compassionate. He will also discipline is he will show us like there's always cause and effects, but ultimately he's not using the tools against us. He's not trying to push you shame, blame, and guilt triggers to just have you spiral down. God is a whole nother ball game. So, sometimes people are not comfortable with the word God. It's universe or great spirit or how they connect with source. But I'm just saying, when we get into that posture, we're setting that intention in our heart to connect with all that is and all that's made us and everything around us as we are one. So, of course. So anyway, we're going to go on. That kind of dependency, sensitive, instinctual woman with a wide register of mood swings have on their appearance is known. So he's saying when somebody is dependent, sensitive, and has these mood swings, you can see it in their face. They move differently in every dress. A change of coiffure, lipstick, color, or perfume, fragrance, transforms them like a chameleon into a romantic, cynic, a goo-goo gaga girl, or aggressive femme fatale. So he's talking like, again, like intention. You're dolling yourself up. It actually evokes a different kind of energy out of you, right? A primitive, so that was the femme fatale, the go-go girl. Now, the primitive and empty, slovenly, sensual narcissist, in answer to my question years ago on how she spent the day, answered, I didn't feel like bathing or combing my hair or getting dressed. I just lay around for hours on my divan and hated being so ugly and dirty. I felt I had gotten very old and would die very soon. I looked into the mirror and started to cry. Afterwards, I ran into the bathroom, bathed, carefully applied my makeup, and put on my vamp dress, turned on the radio, and started to dance. And believe it or not, the phone started to ring. We believe it because we understand how this energy works. My capital letter, flirtation called, the one I had already mourned with tears. Maybe it's dumb, but I'm certain that had I stayed lying on the dirty divan, this would not have happened, right? So we take action and the universe reflects back to us. Instead, I would have finally taken the sedative I have been keeping for years now as an emergency kit. And so that's what we're seeing right now, right? She's saying she got up, she took action, and her universe started reflecting back to her positive things. But she's certain if she had just stayed in that rut and then took in that sedative, she would have ended up in the same rut. Right now, a lot of us are working through a lot of things. A lot of things are changing in the world. There's a lot of things going on with the pandemic. There's a lot of things shifting in people's work and personal relationships. And so people are getting tempted to just numb out. It could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be, TV, Netflix or other things, and I just want to encourage you to don't take those sedatives. Instead, drop it and take some action. And if you don't first see what you like, try again. Because if you've kind of been in this energy form where you're not really taking action or you're not in your higher order values, it's going to take a little while for that shift in the spectrum. So you can't just expect, presto, but it can be presto because God can do anything in any moment, instance. The universe can just show up like that. Just like this lady, she changed, she bathed, and boom. But then if you don't have that, persist. Never, ever, ever give up. So, okay, and I just want to encourage you too is, take action. Don't take the sedative. Don't take the numbing things. Don't space out. Stay here in your body and take action towards your dreams. Okay, a very old actress who had been a Budapest figure for decades until she burned alive in an air raid shelter during the siege, conducted a heroic battle with merciless time until the very last moment. So he's talking about her and her body, her looks, or she is. Her figure, despite her 80s, was as slender as a girl's. Her slim ankles wobbled on unrealistically high heels. Whoever walked behind her on the street and watched her elegant suited figure, her reddish blonde hair flowing under the daring line of her hat, would have at most only been suspicious from her gait, because it seemed especially rickety, mechanical, as if a mummy had escaped from a crypt in disguise and floated before them. Looking eye to eye, however, disclosed the sad truth, because neither plastic surgeries nor the layered paint softened her face from being old. It increased and deepened into its hopeless, empty horror. So I'm here just to say that, however, if you want to, so in general, as we age, falls is a very high risk. Like when you go to the hospital, you talk to providers in the geriatric communities, and even when people have disabilities or orthopedic injuries, falls is a killer. You know, don't worry about other things. You got to watch the carpet, you got to watch the stairs, you got to watch falls, because they fall, they hit their head, they can have a, bleed in the head and hurt other things, break ribs. It's very painful. So the thing about it, she's 80 years old, walking on her heels, kind of wobbling through. Now, Maria Szepes seems to have very strong views on like women embracing their age and being mature about it. And so I'm just here to say, if you are somebody who's rocking it like a rock star and wearing your heels, just be cautious and careful of falls and like other safety things. And I'm not here to put you down. I do know for myself that, when you're younger, you can wear a lot of makeup and look, young. But as you age, it's like the more makeup you wear, the older you look. So, sometimes that beautiful natural vibe. But if you're into makeup, I've seen some incredible things with the makeup that people do now. It's like fascinating. But at the same time, that fresh, beautiful you are beautiful at every age. So do you. I'm not here to criticize you at any age if you are still running around in your high heels, because I think we're beautiful at every age and it's our choice. However, take safety. There was no dignity or wisdom in this old age, merely haughty clutching after something that was long lost. So her viewpoint is that because she's on these high heels and things, she's clutching her youth. And some may say yes, and others may say that's a choice. That's how she wants to look, and that's her prerogative. It had become her obsession, like a mother who goes insane after the death of her child and rocks a baby's empty, swaddling clothes idiotically. Yes, that's pretty tough stuff, though, and that rocking your empty baby's clothes after, it can be very comforting for a time. I agree you shouldn't stay in there, but when you have a sudden loss like that, it is difficult to just not be with that. So this actress, in her desperate yearning for youth and adoration, instinctively suspected something about the ancient magic of postures. She denied herself afternoon naps, for example. She sat in a steel girdle, straight back in an armchair for hours, not allowing her body to relax or go flaccid, because she superstitiously and fanatically believed that if she gave up the tense and God battle with time, in this receptive laxity, old age would come crashing down on her and finally take her captive, convince her with its aching, tired, lazy body. So, wow, it's amazing to hear, the viewpoints. But I'm just saying, just know that you are beautiful at every age. You make the choices on how you dress, how you look. Just take safety into account. And it's also, nice to know too that we're not grasping at, the past. We are recreating our beauty at every stage. And I hope that you are seeing that you are the magic of everyday life. You are the beauty of everyday life. It's in you, it surrounds you. And I just want to thank you so much for joining me. When you do get a chance, please hit subscribe and like. And I would love to hear your positive comments. Thank you so much for joining me. And you know what comes next? Peace in, peace